Hey, what's up, guys? This is Teacher Ken. I hope you're ready. This is going to be the evaluation level for you to realize if you are ready to be an advanced student. I am not going to do much slow explanation of things. This is going to be an exercise in which you're going to learn if you can apply as, let's say, a reflex level, the correct grammar structures. If you don't keep up, if you're not able to maintain pace, do not worry. The podcast also has basic classes that are completely in Spanish and intermediate classes that are in English with English subtitles. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, let me go ahead and share the screen. I'm going to share the book that I'm going to be using in this course. There you go. I'm going to put myself right here, actually. Yes, and I am going to just zoom this in a tad bit. There you go. So the book that we are using is called English Sentence Structure. It's by the University of Cambridge, okay? In Cambridge University, they have this book for people who are learning English as a second language to have these conversational grammar exercises. They practice these exercises every day in class, and this is the main structure for them to learn how to speak correctly. We believe that what is most important is to focus on repeating the correct structure over and over again until it becomes second nature. With that thought in mind, these exercises are to evaluate if you are ready to call yourself an advanced student. We're going to be working on about 8 grammar exercises today. I am going to give a brief explanation of the exercise, and after that, I am going to just go ahead and skip to doing it. If you are able to do this with me and you are able to provide the correct answers the first time without me having to correct you somehow, then you are ready to call yourself an advanced level student. But if not, just understand that there is an intermediate level within the podcast that has English classes with English subtitles. We're going to be explaining the grammar episode by episode that includes an exercise to practice. So what we're going to see in these exercises is something that you are already supposed to know if you want to call yourself an advanced student. I will go ahead and proceed right here. Exercise 1 is for us to practice comparatives in questions. They will start with a regular sentence about John, and they want us to make a question about Mary. And we're going to be using the comparative. That's simple. So example number 1 says John is taller than Fred. The question is always about Mary. Is Mary taller than Fred? He took a bigger one. Did Mary take a bigger one? John has the blackest hair in class. Does Mary have the blackest hair in class? This is just for making questions, so it's not a very complicated exercise. But within the intermediate block, you will find the comparative exercises that will help you understand from scratch how to use these comparisons correctly. That difference between taller, the tallest, beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful, all of that is within the intermediate section, and you will find it in that section of the podcast. Right here, we're saying John is shorter than Bob. What's the question? Remember, we are always asking about Mary. Is Mary shorter than Bob? So, number 2 says, Rose is more beautiful than Jane. What's the question about Mary? Is Mary more beautiful than Jane? Quite easy, right? Let's get started with the exercise. Number 3 says, they paid more money than John did. Did Mary pay more money than John did? Number 4, she types most efficiently in the morning. What's the question about Mary? Does Mary type most efficiently in the morning? Number 5, he was the tallest in his class. Was Mary the tallest in her class? His bag is heavier than mine. Is Mary's bag heavier than mine? This is the basic way in which all of the exercises go in this English program. I am going to give you a question in which you're going to have to think what the correct structure of an exercise is. And the faster you are able to produce the correct structure without thinking of the grammar, the closer you are to your goal. Okay? Let's continue with this exercise. Number 7, the boy looks just like his father. Question about Mary. Does Mary look just like her father? He seems different from the other students. Does Mary seem different from the other students? You are as slow as Bob is. Is Mary as slow as Bob? He works more effectively at home. Does Mary work more effectively at home? This course is the most practical. Is Mary's course the most practical? They are going to take the earliest bus. Is Mary going to take the earliest bus? So you see, technically speaking, this is a very easy exercise. It's just an exercise for you to change a regular sentence into a question, taking into consideration the fact that you're talking about another person, third person, singular, feminine, Mary. You have to think of the different tenses, if it's present, past, or future, if you are using a modal auxiliary or not, if you maintain the is or the are, what pronouns you should use, what is the correct possessive that should be used in this case. All of these questions come to your mind, and the reason why they stop you from saying the correct answer is because you haven't practiced it enough. It really is as simple as, if I have seen it so many times the right way, the moment I see it the wrong way, it just sounds wrong. And so you were not supposed to memorize all of the different grammar structures technically. If you did, good for you, because that is going to help you at an analytic level. But the reason why you are still unable to produce it in speech is because now you're thinking of all of those rules and you find yourself unable to just speak fast that hesitation. The secret to beat the hesitation is confidence that comes through repetition. You might already know the correct comparatives and superlatives, and you might have already seen it in a program, in an English course with a previous teacher. But the reason why you're not able to do this simple exercise in conversation, it's because you did not practice it in conversation before. Again, English is easy. You just need to practice. We're going to continue with the other exercises. Remember, this video, this podcast episode is only for evaluation purposes. You can look for the other episodes that are called Lesson 1, Chapter or Box 1. For example, if it's in the basic level, they are written in Spanish and they say A1. If it's intermediate, they are written in English. They start with B2 and the videos will have English subtitles. The advanced level will start with C1 or is going to say Pro Talk and is not going to have any subtitles because this is for mostly listening and conversation practice. Anyway, let's continue. Exercise number 2 is on page 228 of our grammar book. The grammar book that we use, again, is English Sentence Structure. It's by Cambridge University and it's available completely for free on my Linktree account. You will not be able to download it to have a copy for yourself, but I do encourage you to look for the book in Amazon or to look for the audiobook or anything similar. Look for a copy of the book and pay for it. Get the book for yourself so that you're able to, make it yours, highlight it, take notes, take it everywhere with you, okay? If you're unable to buy it, I understand. That is the reason why I have this program, which is for 1 million free English students online. You will be able to find the book within my social media links. Exercise 2 is for us to make comparisons with more or ER. The idea will always start with John, and we will think that Paul is that nasty friend that can swim and fly. Your friend, the duck, that has nothing to envy to fish or birds. Paul will always be better than John for this particular exercise. Poor guy. Anyway, let's get started. John is young goes to Paul is younger than John. John is patient would be Paul is more patient than John. John has a good car would become Paul has a better car than John. So I hope you're ready. Paul is always better. Number 1. John's hair is gray. Paul's hair is grayer than John's. Number 2. John has traveled often. Paul has traveled more often than John. John is tall. Paul is taller than John. John is interesting. Paul is more interesting than John. We know that John is a good student. Paul is a better student than John. John has walked a long distance. Paul has walked a longer distance than John. John has had experience in teaching. Paul has had more experience in teaching than John. John is going to the concert early. Paul is going to the concert earlier than John. John has a wide knowledge of physics. Paul has a wider knowledge of physics than John. John has a bad temper. Paul has a worse temper than John. John talks English fluently. Paul talks English more fluently than John. John's nose is small. Paul's nose is smaller than John's. So again, these are very easy exercises, and the idea is that you are able to give me that comparison with Paul right away without having to think very much of the rest of the structure. If you have some difficulty, if you struggle with this exercise, do not worry, all right? The intermediate level has all the explanations of the grammar that you need to learn to become an advanced student. If everything went well, I also uploaded the first advanced English level lesson. It's going to start again with C1. I hope that you guys enjoy. Make sure that you like, put any questions that you have in the comments, and share this with anyone and everyone that you know would like to learn or improve their English. All of this will help me reach my goal of having 1 million English students online free. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, English is easy. You just need to practice. See you next class.